All right, guys, good morning. It is Monday, October 13th, and today I'm just going to talk about a concept or a group of concepts related to the hobby that I think are really important. I'm just going to show some B roll here of me working on some Empire State Troops, and these guys being on my desk sort of triggered this idea in my head. So, the concept or group of concepts is the idea of your hobby area always being ready for you to just sit down and get going. Um, One of the biggest barriers to entry for hobbying is just going to do it. And if your stuff is packed away, or your brushes are not clean, or your airbrush is still dirty from the last time you used it, or whatever, it can be really hard to overcome that barrier to sit down and actually hobby. And I know for a lot of people, it's not necessarily possible to have something set up full time. I'm very fortunate that I have an entire room essentially that I can have permanently set up at all times to support my hobbying. But I know that's not possible for everybody. But even if you don't have a dedicated room, even if you don't have a dedicated table, even if you don't have a dedicated spot, whatever, um, think about lowering the barrier to entry as much as possible. So, if we'll start at the top here and work down. If you have a room available to you with a desk or whatever, then put some models out on paint handles ready to go. Put the paint arrayed in front of you. Make sure your brushes are there. Make sure your palette is clean, whatever. So you can sit down and within 25 seconds you can be painting. One step beyond that, say you don't have a permanent location, but you have a cart or a tray or something that has all your stuff on it. Make sure that's all ready to go. Make sure your water cup that sits on that is full. Make sure your brushes are out and ready. Make sure, like I said, make sure models are on paint handles, all that sort of thing. Um, that way you can, if you get some time, you can grab that tray, sit down where you're going to paint, and go. And then one step down from that, even if say you might live in an apartment, or you just might not have a lot of space in your house or whatever, and stuff has to be packed away at all times. Well, then make it as easy as possible to open a drawer and get everything out. If you have to open a drawer and fiddle with a whole bunch of stuff, and oh yeah, I got to go fill my water cup up and find a paper towel and figure out where the miniatures are I need to paint, all that is just going to be basically baggage in your brain. And when you think about going to hobby, that's going to be getting in the way. So you just, no matter what your situation, you just want to make sure that you are as ready as you can be, situation permitting, to be able to sit down and paint. And what triggered this idea or this thought, this is not an original concept, by the way. Several people have made videos about this. Probably many people have made videos about this. But I think it's a good thing to reiterate as we, go through the hobby. But the thing that triggered this for me was that yesterday when I was working on my battle damage video, I was waiting for some paint to dry, and I still had some of the Slaughter Red that I was using on the Blood Angel, or the Shadow Angel, whatever he's called, in my palette. And sitting right next to me on paint handles ready to go were some Empire State Troops. The Empire State Troops, or the friends of the Empire State Troops you see here in this video. Um, and they were sitting there ready to go. So all I had to do was take the brush I was already using, dip it in the paint I was already using, and put it straight on these troops, straight on these models. So that was even a step beyond what I normally do. Normally I'll think about what my next project is going to be and I'll lay it out or whatever. These Empire State Troops, they weren't necessarily going to be my next project, but I just had them. I don't even remember why they're on paint handles, to be honest. I wasn't meaning to work on them in any sense of the word soon. I mean, if I got to them, I got to them, but I had no plans. So, but they were just sitting there on the paint handles, and the barrier to entry was as close to zero as it could possibly be. I had to pick up the paint handle and just continue painting. So I got the red base coat down on like 10 or 15 Empire State Troops while I was waiting for the paint to dry. on my main project. So if you're in the position that you're able to do that, I would highly encourage you to, maybe just get some figures that you want to paint eventually, but you're not sure when you're going to get to them. Just stick them on your hobby desk, stick them off to the side. And if you're working on something and you come to a natural break, like you're waiting for paint to dry, or if you come to a point where like, I need a break from this, then you've got something right there. And instead of getting up, getting distracted, all that sort of stuff that can happen when you stand up from your hobby desk, you can just keep hobbying right on to those guys, then set them aside, keep going with your main project or whatever. But I know that's not, like I said near the beginning of the video, it's not always going to be possible for everybody. But no matter what your situation, just keep in mind trying to remove the barrier to entry for you to sit down and start painting. Whatever that means for you, whatever that means in your situation, be cognizant of it as you are moving through your life and making decisions about where your hobby supplies are going to be or whatever. Think about how easy is it for me, a drop of a hat, to go sit down and start painting. Alrighty, so not a ton of other stuff to do today. Just did a little bit of painting, as you saw, and then some planning that wasn't really filmable for the Hermitage Plantation project. That project is finally getting back going. I had a bunch of stuff that I ordered that I was waiting on in the mail and basically couldn't do anything until it arrived. It finally did arrive, so I have gotten back to that, and that should be getting back into the swing of things any day now. I did get out some halberdiers, though. You can see them there. Got them primed. Not sure what the color scheme is going to be yet. I think a lot of the units in my Empire army are going to be different color schemes, because of that new Army of Infamy that came out in the newest Arcane Journal. I'm going to paint an Empire army for that. So, there's going to be some conversions, some converted units, some converted characters, all sorts of stuff in that. But the units, I think, are going to be from different regions, and so they're going to have different colors on them. Otherwise, I think I can show this maybe easily. Not related to my hobby, but I helped. The other thing I did today, which is vaguely hobby related, is I helped my daughter on one of her new hobbies, brand new hobby, and only became a hobby because a friend of ours found this dead moth or butterfly or whatever while they were at a job site, and so she has started her butterfly or moth pinning hobby. So that's kind of cool. We did some stuff with that. She got a shadow box to display it and all that, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, not exactly Warhammer or miniature gaming hobby related, but it is a hobby related, so I'd say that counts. But that will do it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you tomorrow.